We're going to go now, and we're going to say very good morning on line 7 here to Lorraine Michael, the leader of the New Democratic Party. Lorraine, good morning.
Good morning, Randy. How are you?
I'm good. We haven't talked since the announcement of the passing of Jack Layton.
Right.
And I know how hard that hit you, and I got to tell you, it hit me too. I think it hit everybody.
Yes.
Kind of in a way you don't usually see in Canada.
Exactly.
I mean, I've never seen the Chalk Memorial before.
No.
You know, those kind of spontaneous shows of appreciation for somebody. I've never seen that before.
No, I haven't either, and I think that's also been part of the emotional impact on all of us who knew him, both in and outside of the party, to realize how much he was actually loved. Not just respected, but loved.
No, he was truly appreciated, there's no doubt, and, you know, I feel honored to have known him and have met him. I can't say I call him a friend by any means, but an acquaintance. He could call me by my name.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
Yes.
And I understand now there's going to be a special gathering at St. John City Hall this week for the broadcast of the state funeral. Members of the public invited to gather tomorrow in the Foreign Room at City Hall in St. John's to watch the state funeral. Doors are going to open at 2:30 local time. Service is scheduled for 3:30 local time. Seating is limited. It'll be available on a first-come, first-served basis. I got a feeling there's going to be a nice turnout because I think at a time like this, people want to be together.
Yes, I actually, I'm in Labrador since yesterday, and I hadn't heard that, and I'm delighted to hear it. I'm going to be privileged enough to be at the funeral in Toronto, and I will bring the spirit of the people from this province to that funeral with others like Bruce Pearce and his partner Sean Silver, who will also be there, and Jack and Ryan Cleary, Jack Harris and Ryan Cleary. Right.
So there's going to be a good contingent of Newfoundlanders represented at the Roy Thompson Hall tomorrow.
Very definitely, yes.
I understand Stephen Lewis is also going to be doing the eulogy.
Yes.
So this is going to be a pretty special moment. And a defining one, I think, in the political life of the country.
Very definitely. It's going to be a restatement of Jack's spirit and the legacy that he has left us, and I think people are going to be hanging on every word and everything that happens during that service tomorrow.
I found it very interesting, MP Ryan Cleary. On the bottom, you know how people at the bottom of their emails, they have a little inspirational message or something? Mm-hmm. He's already taken it.
Well, I'd say there's going to be an awful lot of people who are going to take Jack's words, especially that last sentence.
That love is better than anger, hope is better than fear.
That's right.
Yeah, optimism is better than despair, so let us be loving, hopeful, and optimistic, and we'll change the world.
Right.
And he's put that on the bottom of his emails, and I thought, okay, that's good, because it's a great message.
Well, let's all do it.
Anyway, let's all do it. Right on.
Yes.
Well, let's first of all now do a little politics, you and I.
Okay.
I'm shocked over this review panel's report on Muskrat Falls. Are you surprised?
I have to say I'm not surprised because I really didn't think that there was an adequate analysis being done by NALCOR. We couldn't get at their books. We couldn't get inside of them, so we couldn't know it for sure. So I kept saying within our caucus and to my staff and to our executive, we have to wait for the environmental assessment panel. We had done an analysis, and I put out my statement earlier this week before this report came out, but I really did believe that this panel, if it worked the way I know that, a joint panel works, because I've been on one, that they would really turn everything inside out and upside down and look at every issue. And that's what they've done. And having done that, they've proven that there is such a lack of information that was gathered by NALCOR on some of the most important aspects of Muskrat Falls that now they're saying it really can't go ahead without a much bigger analysis. And I'm quite disturbed by the fact the blasé way that I saw the Premier responding yesterday, and I mean that sincerely. Like, she made a statement that she couldn't find anything in the report that really gave a basis for their final conclusion. Mm-hmm. Well, the Premier must not have read Recommendation 2, because in Recommendation 4.2 there are 9 bullets that explain very carefully the things that need to be further considered. So to me, they're the gaps that have made them say we do not have enough to show us that this is economically viable.
I haven't had a chance to read the report, so I'm asking questions that are obvious to you maybe, but this report really deals with what I'll call the sin of omission, doesn't it? Versus It's what's not done that they focus on versus the work that has been done.
Because what's not done is what's needed in order to prove that this is economically viable and that it really is the best option for the province. And that's a glaring what's not done, right?
I can't believe anybody would we'd be this far down the road. Maybe that's where I need the Premier and the Minister of Energy as well, Ms. Michael. But we're an awful long way down the road to suddenly have a format, a program, a project articulated that we don't know whether or not it's viable. I mean, this thing, obviously it's viable, or you wouldn't go this far down the road.
Right.
Amira wouldn't sign on. This stuff wouldn't happen if it wasn't viable, right?
Well, no. I mean, number one, let's remember that you don't have an agreement between Nalcor and this government and Amira and the Nova Scotia government. We have a term sheet. And we keep forgetting that. That was so long ago we forget it. There hasn't been a formal agreement yet. We have a term sheet. And the second thing is, with regard to the loan guarantee that the federal government has, said that they would be willing to do or back up, they also say there has to be further financial analysis. So this information has got to be something that's going to seriously cause people in Ottawa to question going ahead even with a loan guarantee. They can't do a loan guarantee, I don't believe, on a project that a panel of the stature of this environmental assessment panel says is not economically viable or has not been proven to be economically viable at this point.
So do you think everything has to stop now? They got to stop in their tracks?
I believe in terms of what they've been calling, Nalcor has been calling the preparatory work for Muskrat Falls, they have to stop. Maybe there's other work to be done based on this analysis, but it's not the preparatory work for Muskrat Falls. They've got to seriously take what this report is saying and say, do we have the money? Is it affordable to do everything that now needs to be done to prove that this is economically viable? I've always questioned its economic viability, and the issue is, as is pointed out in the report here, two of the things that the Nalcor at the moment hasn't taken into consideration is the use of Gull Island power when and if it becomes available, because it would be available at a lower per unit generation cost than Muskrat Falls, and neither does it take into consideration what's going to happen in 1941 when the Upper Churchill gets freed up by that contract. It doesn't even, their documentation and their work to date doesn't even consider that. These are major things that do need to be considered. And I think, I've said it, that they've rushed into Muskrat Falls. I really believe that. One of the things I was saying was slow down. It's moving too fast. And what your point, it points that out. They were moving before they had even some very basic analysis done by an outside body to say you can move.
Yeah,
and I've been shocked by that, the speed at which they've been pushing this.
Yeah, this thing has been getting green lights everywhere. And yeah, it's been moving fairly swift. But then again, we were given a sense of urgency that we have this energy demand, and we're gonna be into the world of brownouts if we don't get something done.
Yeah, well, you see, that sense of urgency was coming from the government and was coming to meet their agenda. It wasn't urgent to the point that they had to start spending, which is now, like this year alone, $348 million was passed over to Nalcor to do prep work for Muskrat Falls. And as I put in my statement the other day, that's $700 per man, woman, and child. What I didn't have in the statement was, for a number of years prior to this year, through natural resources and a couple of other departments, there's been another $500 million that's been spent. Yeah. So, I mean, we're saying that so far about $1,500 per every man, woman, and child in this province has been put into the prep work for something that they haven't adequately analyzed. And the Premier, can say that, oh, well, we have to wait till we get the PUB report and this other report that Nalcor is having done.
That's the Manitoba Hydro report.
Yeah, but neither one of those reports is going into the depths of analyzing the things that this panel has pointed out.
Lorraine Michael, the Honourable Member for Signal Hill Kitty-Vitty, leader of the New Democratic Party. Good to speak with you on this topic. I'm sure we'll discuss it again in the future. Thanks for this.
We shall, Randy. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Up in Labrador, not going to be in town tomorrow, but up in Labrador dealing with issues up there and talking about Muskrat Falls. She says they've got to put the brakes on. They've got to do it now. Is she right?